Wanted to start with you. You've brought so many powerful female characters to life on the screen. What was it about this particular character that attracted you to the role? And who were the women in your life who shaped the artist you are today?
Oh, two really good questions, Kevin. Um, when you get an audition, which we do all the time as actors, if you're lucky, and you see David E. Kelly on that first page, Kevin, you just know that something good's coming. So that pulled me in. David E. Kelly, Barry Levinson, and then you actually read those few scenes that you get for the audition, and and you find that you can really inhabit these characters, and that's always great because then you can enjoy the audition, which is not always the case, right? You can actually enjoy doing your best work. Thank God it worked out the way it did, because getting this part, actually working with these people, including people like Mike and Juliana and Jeff, was just, it was a gift from God. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm sure glad I did it. And then who are the people who really influenced me? My mom. My mom, God bless her. I am the only actor in my family, but I think she was the OG. She was a storyteller, and a fierce and loyal mother and friend. And I learned so much from her. And I'm Jamaican. I don't know if you know that. And our premier folklorist in Jamaica was this woman named Louise Bennett Coverley. And I watched her my entire childhood. And through her, I was immersed in my culture, and I knew that I could, somewhere in me, I knew that I could do this for a living. That's where I think it started.
Great answer. Michael, your character has quite a journey in this series, which you're bringing so much nuance to. As an actor, how did you create this space for yourself to dive into that arc? And can you talk a little bit about how your character uses humor as a defense mechanism?
I think that's exactly what it is. It's the defense mechanism. And also it's just, I mean, if, these guys, they go to work every day and, there's, they're dealing with people on the worst day of their lives, so the last thing you need if you're having the worst day of your life is to have a detective come and be hand-wringing and be nervous or in any way anxious or anything. You actually need them to kind of be in possession of themselves and the situation, everything like that. And part of that is keeping it light and keeping it cool, not disrespectful in any way, but just keeping it light. And, so these guys can chop it up when they're in the car heading somewhere, or they're leaving something, it's gallows humor. It's kind of, you have to be able to wipe all this stuff off your feet when you go home at the end of the day and be a dad, yeah, I think that was just kind of part of it. Any of the police I've met over the years, I mean, they're just ruthless with each other.
Beautifully said. I have a question for the both of you. The sense of family between all of these characters radiates off the screen. How were you all able to build that bond during this filming experience?
I think we just got lucky because it doesn't always happen like that. But for some reason, the four of us just really enjoyed each other, and whatever, we just really enjoyed being around each other and being on set together and getting to play.
Yeah. I agree with you. And it's weird because it's not like we were up each other's armpits offset or anything. I mean, we did form a family, but we also had our lives that we lived outside, away from work. So it was a really healthy combination, I think. We had respect for each other's work. We'd all seen each other's work beforehand, and then seeing what each other brought to set in terms of our dedication to the work, our willingness to excavate what was there, enjoying each other's senses of humor and that sort of thing. It all just seemed to really gel in a really fortunate way.
And you're both such veterans in this industry. How have streaming services like Peacock evolved the film and television industries and the types of stories that we're able to now tell?
I think it's great because then you get to play, you get to do an 8-hour movie, now, you get to be a person for, and have a storyline or a serialized through line that, I think is really cool. I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating that people, they don't want to watch something on Tuesday at 8 every other week. They want to watch for something in their pajamas with their partner eating Chinese food in bed on a Sunday. And I think it's kind of a cool new way of consuming this medium. I'm fascinated by it. I think there's a lot of good stories happening on streaming right now.
Yeah. And I think it also allows storytellers to not feel compelled to put a bow at the end of whatever it is, 26 minutes or 43 minutes or whatever it is. You can, because you can extend the storylines for much longer, then you can actually delve much deeper into the characters, which this show does. And I'm not only talking about the four main characters, I'm also talking about the people that they meet along the way as they follow these, as we follow these cases. You get to learn about these people who come into who drop into the stories. You're going to their homes, you're going to the rooms of their homes, you get into their conversations, their activities, all of that stuff. And I love that. I loved reading that, being a part of that, and now I love watching it.
Beautifully said. I don't have too much more time. This is a question for the two of you. And Karen, you talked about this a little bit earlier, but for Avi, this is more than a job to him. It's his calling in life. How did you each discover your calling in life as storytellers?
How did I discover?
Who's going first?
You.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of four kids. I had to be louder and more expressive in order to get any kind of attention from my parents, who by the time they got to me were quite frankly tired. And so I think it started there. And no, I tried to do, a whole bunch of other things throughout my life, because who becomes an actor? My spirit knew where it belonged, and it just kept pulling me back. No, you're doing acting. No, you're supposed to be on the stage. Now here's TV. It just keeps pulling me back until I went, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. I remember I auditioned for the school play when I was in 6th grade, and I got the lead for Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, the Judy Blume book. And then and I was like, oh, this is why you're not picked first on the football teams, because you're here. Oh, this is the spot. This is your football team. And I was like, and then I just did some plays. And then I remember in 9th grade, my teacher, Gene Drakenberg, said, this guy might be able to make a buck off of this someday. And so then it just kind of changed my head. And ever since then, I kind of started gunning for this as a life.